Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Personally, I have to confess that this article surprised me, and the Pentagon suggesting what they suggest again provide me with surprise. What happened? This article comes from the Voice of Ukraine. It is from December 23rd, 2022. Pay attention, this is the title. By now, Ukraine fields more tanks than Russia. Pentagon suggests. So the Pentagon, the know-it-all, they say that by now, Ukraine should have more tanks than the Russian army. All right, let's see. Let's see what evidence they provide, right? The armed forces of Ukraine may have more tanks on the battlefield than Russia, thanks to the hundreds of armored vehicles that Russians left in the wake of their retreat from Kharkiv and Kiev Oblast earlier in 2022. An unnamed, I love when I read an unnamed, U.S. Department of Defense official said in a comment to the Washington Post on December 23. So the Ukrainians have more tanks than the Russians. Okay, good. That means they're gonna win, right? Yes. Well, they didn't say if the tanks were active or inactive, but anyway, let's assume they are working. The official commented on the proposal of Ukrainian Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov to transfer M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine by saying that at this stage even one M1 is out of the question. According to him, it was difficult for the U.S. Army to maintain tanks of this type during the war in Iraq, and for Ukraine it would be impossible. They asked for it. However, he added that the Ukrainian army may have more tanks on the battlefield than the Russians do. Good job. And I'm quoting, the Russians have graciously donated a lot, end quote, jokingly said the official when talking about the flight of Russian troops from Kiev and Kharkiv Oblast. Earlier, media reports said that during the counteroffensive in Kharkiv Oblast and the flight of the invaders from the north of Ukraine, Kiev seized so many Russian weapons that Moscow became the largest supplier of heavy weapons for Ukraine. I get my information from various sources, and those various sources said that actually the Russians retreated in a very orderly manner. It's not like they ran so fast that their boots got off their feet and left behind. Why would you leave a tank behind when the tanks moves faster than a infantry person, a man? Anyway, there's no way to suggest that Mr. Reznikov or this unnamed official is wrong. Okay, I have no evidence to support or deny all this, or challenge it. During the liberation of Kharkiv Oblast, Ukraine captured 460 Russian battle tanks. So during the liberation of Kharkiv, they captured 460 Russian battle tanks, 92 self-propelled howitzers. I didn't see the 460 Russian tanks. I didn't see one functional one left behind. Did you? I didn't see. All of a sudden we find out there were 460. So imagine 460 should have been all over the place. I haven't seen anything. But anyway, they're telling the truth because they are the armies of the good. 92 self-propelled howitzers, I would like to see those too. 448 infantry fighting vehicles, I would like. It's 500, 1, 2, 3, imagine how many. It would be like a forest of tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, 195 armored combat vehicles, and 44 rocket artillery systems. These gains were well documented by open source intelligence communities online. Well, sorry, I missed them. Can you send them to me? All right. Well, I don't think that's a good idea to overemphasize these things. Like Reznikov, when he said these things, he realized that his counterpart was like, okay, so how many did you say you had? Okay, yeah, we're not going to send these idiots anything. They got him, okay? That was the reaction. Or they would say, oh, send them some more. We're going to make some money. Rayton was going to make some money. This is going to make some money. We're going to make some money. Yeah, it's okay. Good job. Yeah, we're going to send you some more. I think that's the way the conversation went in between these guys. Not the first one, like, oh, don't send them anymore. Because remember, these guys don't give from their own pocket. They give from your pocket, my pocket, and my children's pocket, your children's pocket, and so on. So whenever you see these guys donating or giving, they call it aid to Ukraine, that money does not come from the guys that actually make the decision. No, from you and I, from the worker, from the worker that pays taxes. And let me tell you a story. I worked in a, how do I put it nicely, in a department. And in that department, it was a decision made regarding some individuals that were I can provide names and all that, obviously for confidentiality reasons. But I can give you the idea. So these people got in trouble. They got in trouble with the law, big time. And their family was provided with some perks from the government because the adults fucked up. They would have gone to prison. They went to prison for whatever they did. I didn't follow after that because my job was not to, go past this. But I was in a meeting, and during that meeting, there were different, how should I put it, representatives of different departments, let's put it this way, from different angles. From this, from that, from this, from that. And I was over there too. And I was one of the main guys over there, I gotta tell you that. I was maybe the main guy, the one that I was directly involved in the whole thing, and I was sitting to the side. At that point, I was just providing, I was over there like an observer to see what's happening next. And the family of these guys that were criminals, they were provided with a lot of services by the state, by whatever state, by the government. That money was taken from the taxpayers' money and used for give this criminal's family and everybody in the room. They were just employees of different departments. They were all happy doing their job and being happy that the family was getting this kind of services and money and all that, perks, because the money was not coming directly from their paycheck. So they were all very generous and they were celebrating. And I was the only one staying over there and looking around at this circus when these guys were distributing money that was not theirs to some family of some criminals. So I was thinking, that means if I commit the same crime, my family is set. Basically, that's what it was. Everybody was giving and happy because it was not from their money. It was from everybody's money. For probably they didn't pay a cent for this if you divide it to the whole, whatever the source was coming, if you know what I mean. The same with these guys. When these guys say, well, we need more tanks and all that, the guys in charge, yes, we're going to give you, how much you need? 50 billion tanks, exaggeration obviously. 50 billion tanks, yes, let's get it, man. Yeah, I gave these weasels 50 billion tanks. Gonna go home and have a blow job and tell everybody, hey guys, hey, not necessarily home, you know what I mean. But anyway, you're gonna have it anyway. So, hey man, I'm so important. I gave them 50 billion tanks. Why? Because the tanks did not come from his fucking income. And he was all with a medal, with a little, rank and all that. This is what happened in my direct experience many times. And I was like, this is how the money is used. And all these guys in the room with me, they were all happy and they were finishing or completing their reports based on all this. And they were all, yes, we helped the family, we helped that and we helped that. From whose money? Not yours. If it was your money, you would not have agreed with anything. Anything. But since you didn't feel anything, that's why when you hear these guys, oh, let the illegal immigrants come over here, we're going to give them subsidized housing, we're going to give them jobs, we're going to help them with health care, we're going to help them with this. Why? Because they do not feel at that point anything. It's someone else's money. They're very generous with everybody else's money, and they feel very good about themselves. They're going to go home and say, yes, I have some retards just came across the Rio Grande. They were so poor. They were like half animals. And you know what? I gave them that. You give them shit. You know, you took from others to give to others because you have the authority. The same with these guys. Well, we have more tanks than the Russians. Give them more. What the fuck? It doesn't come from me. And I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to write in his resume. I was participated in the supply of military equipment to Ukraine when the Russians, evil Russians, attacked. And I participated in providing $5 billion of tanks and equipment. Whew, I'm so good. You don't believe me? I was involved in, not at that level, but we are human, okay? And it's just the magnitude, but we deal with the same kind of people. The magnitude. Some people would be in charge of 5 billion. Some people would be in charge with 500,000. Some people would be in charge of 5,000. But the mentality, the whole process is the same. Don't think that those guys, if they are dealing with and are able to make decisions in giving your money, your taxes to somebody else of a level of, I don't know, 5 billion, they're different than the ones that gives fucking losers for I don't know, $5,000. No, the same mentality. I'm somebody. I'm in charge of giving money. That's not mine. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.